Welcome, everyone. This is Marie Waite, and I am here at the Finest Women in Real Estate with two amazing ladies. Let me introduce you to Monica D. Stone, who is a real estate mortgage broker. Monica, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
And we have Deborah Sweet, who is the founder and CEO of Thrive Right Consulting. Deborah, how are you?
Woohoo! I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes, I am so excited because our topic is about niche in real estate.
Mhm.
And as you all know, real estate is always been very competitive. And Monica, let me ask you a question. Being
Okay.
in the real estate industry and also mortgage, it looks like you have two industries that you have to compete. So how do you differentiate yourself in these two industries?
As of late, I have focused a lot more in the mortgage industry, but I have had clients that I've worked with that still ask me to help them with their real estate side. But the biggest thing I find useful on having both hats is I work with a lot of agents and helping them to maybe be competitive with their offers in today's crazy market, because you have to communicate on how the client works financially and with their loan, but also being aware of the documentation that they have to provide on their offers, maybe making it stand out a bit more with cover sheets, complying with, certain guidelines, of course, to make sure they're not crossing any lines. But working with both hats, I find I can help a lot of the agents that I work with also.
Now, Deborah, you are known to help real estate professionals on being um, unique in so many ways. And so we're talking about niche here. What do you think about having niche in real estate?
Oh, you have to have it. It's super, super important. And so, part of my background is I also own a strategic marketing firm. And why I launched Thrive by Consulting is I kept seeing the same patterns play out over and over and over again, building marketing plans, developing, implementing, and managing. And one of the biggest gaps that I see all the time is that most people are unclear on how to own their brand. And that ties right into your niche. Everybody has unique attributes about who they are and what they do. And when it comes to you aligning with your ideal client, your right fit client, it's really important that you know how to own your brand, verbally show up, visually be seen and heard, so that when you're speaking, when you're marketing, when you're just bringing your excellence to your clients, that it is an immediate connection. And so, yeah, I'm a huge advocate of knowing how to brand up, brand you, own that brand, speak it, live
Yes.
it, love it. So,
Oh, love that. So, so Monica, getting back to you. One thing that I know in having a niche is, language, using a different types of language. And I mean, one is, if you have another language that you're an expert with, that's, speaking Spanish or speaking Tagalog, like me being in the Philippines, I know Tagalog. So I work with a lot of Filipino community residents. But when it comes to you being in also in the military environment, how does that work with you? Because that's something I know about you that you are able to specialize in.
That is huge, because it's amazing the difference when you're working with others that have no idea on how a VA purchase works, for example. Even a refinance, I've come across, I can tell if an underwriter off the bat is experienced in VA, depending on the type of conditions that come back, even how they've written it. And I'm like, okay, they just have no idea what they're doing. With families or active military or veterans that are purchasing, for example, it's speaking their language, not sounding as if you're not in their lane when you're talking to them, and able to relay this, this purchase and the process to them, to where, again, you're back in their lane, speaking their language.
Yes.
There's abbreviations, there's terms, there's guidelines, and references that we always have to stick to. And it's making everyone aware of that, especially if it's a purchase with a listing agent, perhaps that isn't familiar with VA purchase. Maybe they're scared of it, not knowing how it's going to, affect them during the escrow process, educating them, and telling them like what a good program it is for this veteran to have their entitlement, knowing that it's a good loan, that they usually have strong attributes, especially during COVID, because a lot of the last minute details of checking that there's someone's still employed, not affected by a shutdown. I mean, those were the strongest buyers at one point, active military, because they have solid income.
Yeah.
So definitely it's its own world having that language when you're working with VA, military, and active duty with their purchases and finance.
I see. And Deborah, so since you've been training a lot of real estate agents, how important is it for them to really understand the power of language?
It's vitally important. I talk and I've been working with realtors for a very long time. And what I've seen in the world of real estate, there are companies that train you very, very well on how to be that realtor extraordinaire, or, that the support team. You learn, I know that you're given marketing, but that's often where it falls flat, because a lot of the marketing that is available for ready ease of use, that you're told to put your logo on it and it's good to go. The challenge is that it's cookie cutter and it sounds like everybody else. And when it comes to you having your voice heard, being seen with all your goodness, language is really important. And one of the things that tends to happen all too often, and you know what, I went through this journey too. So please hear me really clearly that I get it. I've been through this journey. That's why I do what I do, is I've lived it. I've done my own businesses and learned along the way. But it's really easy to get stuck in the language of the tactical components of what you do. And that will not convert to clients. If you're looking to generate new clients, going tactical all the time, talking about all the parts and pieces, which is super important. There's a time and a place for it, but when it comes to having your voice heard so that your brand is clearly defined, it takes a different conversation to start with. So it's really, really important.
I see. Now, talking about the word niche, so it comes to mind where, you have to be in a position that it's you're uniquely identified by people. So in real estate, Monica, how do you position yourself uniquely in both real estate and mortgage?
I have established myself in a lot of groups, networking groups, spouse groups, veteran groups, as being knowledgeable and someone to come to, even if it's not something they're doing right now. It's helping educate and prepare. Having discussions. I've done that with agents that I work with, doing like a live discussion, just talking about the process, because sometimes you hear the word seminar so much and you're like, it could be the same breakdown, but it's hitting points of what does it mean when you're PCSing, and the timelines of when you could purchase, or when you're end of active service, your timelines for that. And that's maybe something that's not hit upon in certain seminars. But I've basically made myself known as someone who's seasoned and knowledgeable with military families and veterans. But, on the other hand, you want to make sure you're known as being knowledgeable in other aspects, that you're not, just stuck in there, but at least you're able to help in, with those families. And that's where I've been with the marketing and basically, social media and networks has been in that group, that field.
I remember when you came up with the concept of Halloween for Heroes. That was really, it really shows how you are dedicated in that group of people, which is, the military and families. It was incredible how you came up with that idea. And I think that's where sometimes I see that you've positioned yourself very uniquely because of your ideas in helping the military families.
Yeah, and we had a great response, and it definitely the information was shared rapidly. It went like, wildfire once families started talking to each other about it.
Now, Deborah, what do you think about positioning uniquely in the real estate? Because you have a brand new company.
So can you clarify your question a little differently?
Okay, so with your brand new marketing company, how does that work when it comes to helping the real estate professional, positioning them uniquely within their industry?
Got it. So Brand U is actually a program that I've developed. It's a program that sits within Thrive Consulting. And so Brand U is a 6-week immersive program that I put together for women specifically in business. And why I put this together is I wanted to make my knowledge, my 30 plus years of helping businesses strategize, grow, pivot, level up, launch, sell, exit, be successful for the long haul in a way where you are aligned, you as the leader of your company are actually aligned with the company, and those who you're working with are really aligned with you. And I started Thrive Consulting because I kept seeing these gaps over and over and over. And women, here's one of the things, part of why I put Brand U together is that traditionally, like the last 100 and 150 years, ladies, most of the marketing tactics, techniques, strategies, the things that we've been told to do have been developed by men. Now that's interesting, and it's clearly a lot of it works, but we're in a different place in a different time. And so this is an immersive program I put together to support more women so that in a 6-week time frame, you can really move through new knowledge that you can apply today. I love to teach so that you learn today, apply today, win today. And what the outcome of working with me in the Brand U program will support you in your real estate business is right here. I teach you how to really define and declare the 4 cornerstones that should be part of your brand plan. I call it your brand plan is you're going to lay out what I call your brand stand, right? Your brand stand is like that stage that you can step up onto anytime, any place, anywhere, be seen, be heard with the visuals and the verbals that help you attract your next best client. So to get to that point where you can do that with ease and grace, I have to teach you some new stuff in a new way. And so Brand U allows me to work really closely with you. And I promise you, I've brought in years of strategy and hands-on, easy things to do that will help you understand how to visually show up and be seen, how to verbally show up and be heard. There's another cornerstone that we get into that helps you really define the values of your company. And I help you move through some of those money stories that get in the way. And girls, I got to tell you, you've got them and your clients have them. And what's really interesting about when we get into that money stuff, this is so powerful because not only am I training you, but I'm going to empower you with new knowledge that the next time you have a client that shows up and starts talking to you and they get stuck on the money, like the money conversation, you are going to have such a different perspective to move them out of that place to say yes to you. And so the final thing that we do in our time together inside of Brand U is I'm actually going to guide you to put together your brand plan. It's an asset for your company, and it's an actual brand plan that you're going to now have a real clear vision on how you're going to show up and really own and bring your uniqueness into the world so that now we infuse this into all of your marketing, all of your sales, all of your business strategies. And now you've got the anchor. I talk about the branding being, it's like the oxygen in the blood in our veins.
That's amazing, Brand.
Yeah.
Monica, what are some of your branding strategies that you're using and it's effective for you?
I have to say, listening to Deborah, it sort of brought me back pretty much when you and I met, because remember I had like a beanie on and like no hair. And I'm like, I was in the midst of everything. And when that photo shoot with all the women lined up, yes. I had, things attached to me underneath my dress after operations. And it was really a hard time because I had no idea how to put myself back together. It's like, I didn't want to wave my hand being the cancer lady one way, because it's like, you don't want clients focused on that, in a way, but you do sort of want to share the aftermath a little bit to show that you're strong and, you get through it, and or empathize, because a lot of families deal with these things right now. But that was really hard to find how I was presenting myself, because especially when I didn't recognize myself in a lot of ways, and even mentally, I changed a lot during all of that. So it was reforming. And as Deborah also mentioned, I did the sales floors where it felt like a locker room, half the time, or you were encouraged to work a certain way and an approach. And I'd have certain salesmen listening to my calls, like wondering how I'm talking to people. I'm like, I'm just talking to people. I'm being realistic. I'm talking about their family, their home, how this is impacting them. I don't need to do a one call close. I need to let them know I understand and build a relationship with them, and then make this happen and future deals happen. And that's how I do have my clients, because they know that I will have conversations with them. I don't push for anything. We do it when you're ready. It's being, educated and knowledgeable, and then being prepared, because this is like one of the scariest things in people's lives, purchasing or their finances.
Yes.
And especially in this market, because they don't know what to expect. They're like, what if this happens? What if that happens? Why is this market like that? And you have to be experienced and knowledgeable to be able to portray that. And that's how I feel like I've formed and developed myself, is, just being able to connect. And I try, I do it as genuinely as I can. And that's the focus for them, just to see how what position they're in, and, the next steps for them, and reminding them they could ask me the same question 5 times. And that's okay. That means I need to explain it a different way, because I find some salespeople are so intimidating. They're so scared to ask the same question again because they didn't get it. It's like, it's a lot to take on, but that's how I try to have my approach. It's just approachable, I guess, in that way.
And as far as knowing you for many years and working with you on Finest Women in Real Estate, Monica, you've been very authentic and transparent with everyone, even with the other agents that we've worked with in the reality TV show. And it was amazing how you also opened up about your situation, going through the cancer. And that was eye-opening for a lot of people. So Deborah, during the time that we were filming the reality TV show, Monica was actually going through the chemo at that time, and she was sharing some of the situation where she was going through the medication while she's still talking to a client. Yes, it was really amazing.
Have a needle being put in, and I'm like, I got this call.
Yeah, and you can see how passionate and how dedicated Monica is, and I was truly drawn to her because of what she was doing at that time. So moving on to our topic on the niche in real estate, the last thing I wanted to ask you guys is about pull marketing. I'm sure that you are aware what push marketing and pull marketing, right? And I guess my question is, what is your concept between the use of push marketing versus pull marketing? I will start with you, Deborah.
So those are 2 strategies that I teach my clients. Sometimes we have to push, many times we have to pull. There's a time and a place for both of them. And for the framework of my perspective, I'll kind of give a couple of practical applications, right? Let's say that you have a website, or you have a specific home that you are focusing on selling, and you've got a unique mini website set up for that, and you want to push people to there, right? You push them through your social media posts. It could be a direct mail campaign. It could be on a business card. Go to this website, and right. So we're going to push people to a destination. But most often, what is more powerful for the long haul is the pull marketing. We're going to lead them through. We're going to lead them through the conversation, the trust building of the relationship, and that is done in a multitude of ways. It can be done with content. You can do it online. You can do it offline. those are certain things, those are all tactics that we do inside of our marketing firm. And when I'm working with my clients with Brand You to help, or not with just Brand You, but also inside of Thrive Right, when I'm working with teams to align them, I want to help your whole team align with you so that you're all in unison. That's one of those things that I really accelerate in is alignment. And so pull marketing, that's the macro. That's actually something that I do all the time. And I'm a firm believer in it. It just needs to be done in a way that accentuates your unique brand, your unique culture, and ties in all the things that we've been talking about together. So yeah, I'm a huge advocate of it.
That's awesome. And Monica, for you, being part of the finest women in real estate, obviously you believed in a lot of things that we do to help you brand your business. No, what is your perspective about the push and pull marketing?
I think push marketing is obviously important to make your brands clear and who you are, and always attaching it to yourself somehow to keep the reminder in people's minds, like, oh, this is who this person is and who they're attached to and what they're capable of. Obviously, a lot of the relationships I have a lot of the pull, where it's a natural and organic relationship. Even one of the things, I got a call last night from a client in her 80s. You wouldn't know it. She's quite the go-getter. And she said, getting that thank you card after we closed our deal was a really big deal, because I don't think I've ever, in all the years I've purchased homes with realtors or loan officers or anything like that, I've never gotten a thank you. There's just like little things like that. And it did have the branding on there and so forth, but I hand wrote my thoughts and thank yous. There's certain things you could do to put a personal touch, but still have your branding, your push marketing, and making sure it's attached to everything, but making your message clear on, how much you appreciate your clients. But yeah, I feel like most of it is pull.
That's awesome.
Relationships.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Insights from both of you. And lastly, I wanted to just ask you, what are the things that you can share to our audience in general when it comes to niche in real estate? Deborah, I'm going to go ahead and start with you.
That's a loaded question, girl. You better narrow it down with the time frame, otherwise we're going to be here all day.
Right. Well, since this is the last question I have, I just wanted to make sure that we can give your last thoughts about, our discussion today. So, what do you think is the most important thing for them to know about niche in real estate? And also, let them know how they can reach you after that.
You bet. So there's a lot behind what I'm about ready to say. But if you have, based upon our conversation here, if what has been happening is you've got this rise in your belly or this little lump in your throat, because what we're talking about is a subject that might make you feel a little uncomfortable, or maybe you're considering, oh, you know what, I don't think I'm real clear on all the details of niching and owning my brand. Here's what I want you to understand. First of all, I understand. I've lived this journey, and it's your time to shine. It's your time to rise up, ditch the disconnect that is creating that feeling, because you have superpowers about who you are and what you do. And most often you're a little too close to it, to yourself, to know how to share it in your branding. But the world needs you to bring your superpowers to the forefront so that you can be seen, you can be heard, you can be really confident. Marketing, branding, doing, serving your clients with ease and grace.
Amazing. Thank you, Deborah. And Monica, same question for you.
Again, it was the thoughts on a lot of what Deborah said too. I find when you're starting off, you're trying to figure out who you are, and you're being slammed with, a lot of tactics from certain companies that you sign up with. And you think it's about logos or personal logos or the font of your signature, things like that. You think that has to be the thing, but I mean, you just keep one foot for the other. You're going to find what you shine at, basically, what's going to make you shine, and then you run with it. And but it's keeping positive, keeping focused, not being scared to try new things. Sometimes you think I could do this, but when you step out into the world, you're like, you sort of shrivel up, so it's keeping focused on those things that that you can shine at, and it will eventually come together. And I felt like I had to do that myself, for sure.
Okay. And what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Are you sharing links?
Yes, yes.
I know what my website URL is, like Homes and Loans by Monica Stone. Yeah.
I like it.
Love
Got a
it.
nice rhythm to it.
Yep.
Homes and Loans by Monica Stone.
That's it. Yes.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for spending the time with me here at the Finest Women in Real Estate. And for everyone out there, definitely share this video to the people that you think who can benefit from. And don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. We have Finest Women in Real Estate TV shows and all types of episodes that you can learn from. And again, thank you, Deborah Sweet,
Thank you.
for being here, Monica D. Stone, and don't forget to get a hold of them and make sure that you watch our next episode, and we will see you next time.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.